The sun is shining once again in Doha, Qatar. Another day of competition at the World Gymnastics Championships. In the women's all-around final, this is the athlete who, since she was 16 years of age and came to Worlds, has been dominant. She has owned this event. A win in the all-around in 2013, 2014, again in 15, adding an Olympic gold medal, and Simone Biles, almost universally recognized as the greatest female gymnast of all time. She goes for a record 4th title today in Doha. World Gymnastics Championships. The 48th edition, and for the first time ever in the Middle East, in the city of Doha. Terry Gannon along with Tim Daggett and Nastia Lukin. And today, guys, our opportunity to watch and appreciate greatness. And that's the expectation, at least, for Simone Biles, going for a record 4th women's all-around title, and has been absolutely fantastic up until this point.
She truly has been magnificent. I think we're all running out of words to say truly how amazing she has been. Her first world title, and that's where it all started. And since then, nobody has been able to beat her at a World Championships and Olympic Games. She has been so dominant.
And every time she goes out, she increases the margin of win over the competitors, and this time it will be bigger than ever, in my humble opinion. Just such a phenom. You see her there with teammate Kyla Ross, and it's because of things like that, the vault that she is so unbelievable on, so powerful. This event, believe it or not, she used to dislike a lot. Only made finals once, never an international medal at a major competition. She's ranked 2nd here in Doha, the only event she didn't win.
And this was, of course, the qualifying round of competition here. She looked absolutely incredible. We thought we saw the best of her just a few years ago at the Rio Olympics. Boy, has she proved us wrong.
Just bam, absolutely spot on. And this is the Biles, and it became that in the qualifying round of the competition. Her 2nd major skill named after her.
Just a few days ago in the team finals, though, she did show a few signs of nerves
A few signs of being human.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right here, had to put her hand down on the beam to save herself from falling, but no big deal at all. Team USA obviously still came away with the win.
Just gigantic power on that double-double laid out. This was the last event for Team USA, and right there, that puts Team USA on top. They are world champions again.
Saw that shot of Morgan Hurd, and there she is, the teenager watching and cheering Simone Biles on, but a lot of action from her, and she is the reigning world all-around champ back last year in Montreal.
And she really shocked a lot of people last year. I think looking right there, even herself was somewhat of the underdog going into that competition, rose to the occasion. Her teammate Reagan Smith, unfortunately getting injured right before that competition, came in and swept that all-around title. But she is looking better here than she even did a year ago. Outscored herself by almost a full point in the qualifying round. But really, we have to be honest. Everybody is going for 2nd and 3rd here today. If Simone does what she is capable of doing, absolutely no chance that anybody is able to beat her.
Well, that's without question, and you got to remember that Simone Biles, the night before the qualification, was in the ER. It was diagnosed as a kidney stone. It has not passed at this point, according to our information. So you never know how she's going to be, but in my opinion, she'll probably be stunning as always. But Morgan really was the table setter for the entire USA program, starting off the events first up, and she delivered.
And just to reiterate, the number in qualifying for Morgan Hurd higher than the one that got her to the world title last year, 56.465. But look at that number for Simone Biles in qualifying, almost 61. Mai Murakami in 3rd, and then Derweil, Melnikova from Russia, and Ellie Black from Canada, the top 6. They'll be grouped together. They will start on vault. So Simone Biles, who has the most world titles of any woman. She's got 15 medals in all after that team win by Team USA. Svetlana Horkina, the one right now with 3 all-around titles, tied with Simone. Today she goes for the record all by herself. A 4th world all-around title. Straight ahead. Back with the action in Doha, Qatar. The women's all-around title on the line today. And Simone Biles, seemingly the only time she doesn't win this is when she's not here, like last year. And Morgan Hurd took the title. But Mai Murakami certainly will be a part of the mix, that first group. Who do you guys look to challenge for the 2nd and 3rd spot if you say, okay, Simone Biles is the overwhelming favorite?
Well, Mai Murakami, as we just saw her right there last year at Worlds, she won the qualifying and then was winning the finals. Went to balance beam, fell off on a double turn, and that opened the door. Morgan Hurd didn't just jump through, she
vaulted through.
Absolutely, just like that.
Yeah, Murakami this time around qualified 3rd. Simone Biles, of course, qualified 1st, and Morgan Hurd 2nd.
The biggest question today for me, though, is what vault she's going to do. Remember, she introduced a new vault in the qualifying rounds that's now called the Biles. That is not it. That's how she typically warms up for, and just by that look that I just saw right there, that little turn of her shoulder as she's walking out the mat, she's just envisioning how the last part of this vault will go. We'll know if we see a 6.4 on the big screen if she's going for it.
Laurent Landy, her new coach, came back after almost 2 years away. Simone Biles came back this summer. We saw her at the U.S. Classic and then the U.S. Championships.
Well, believe it or not, it's actually been 364 days. Tomorrow would have been the exactly a year since she's been back in the gym training since her break. I mean, I know we have said this over and over, but she is better than she has ever been before, even after taking that much time off.
And the only way that's possible, and you watch the great ones in sports, LeBron James, Tom Brady, at some point they are competing against themselves. They're not competing necessarily against the field.
Absolutely, and she has said that over and over again. It's not about that. She just wants to see how far she can go. I'll tell you what, I really believe that someone needs to invent a few more adjectives for us to describe her gymnastics and really the superiority that she shows. You know, most people, as you said at the top, Terry, believe that she is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. If they don't, I don't know what they're thinking. And after today, I'm pretty sure that those holdouts will be converts.
What's incredible, and it really is, that keeps being reinforced and taken to a new level. Not just, all right, what she's done already with an Olympic title and the 3 straight world championships, but now coming back after almost 2 years away and even being better than that. So it's reinforcing that standard, if you will. Mai Murakami getting set.
See this vault a number of times today. It's a Yurchenko with 2 twists. Really good start for Mai Murakami.
22-year-old from Tokyo and hoping to be a big part of the Olympics, of course. Made a little history last year at the World Championships when she won the floor title, becoming the first Japanese woman to win the event at the World Championships.
And you know, the Japanese women have really been on the rise, especially because of her. The men's team has been very dominant. And this is, as you said, Tim, this is a really great start. Clean form in the air, and you see a little bit of a pike down. Not too bad, though. Her chest up on the landing. Hot back, of course, but straight on that line. Will not get any deduction for going out of bounds, as we call it, outside those lines.
So if a hop or a step is less than a meter on the women's side, it's 1/10. If it's more, it's 3/10. That was right on the line. My guess is the judges are definitely going to take 3 for that.
You know, and we've said this all week long, but the judges have been so strict here at these World Championships.
It's a better number than she had in qualifying. 14.566 for Mai Murakami of Japan. And now Morgan Hurd ready. Next one to go on vault, and that top seeded group starting on vault here in the all-around.
She'll do the same vault as you see, that 5.4. That's the difficulty value. You add 10 points in execution, max score 15.4. Pretty good. The vault is really not the event where this championship is going to be won or lost. It's a pretty secure event for all the top athletes like Morgan.
So clean form in the air. Again, very, very similar to Mai.
Yeah, gonna get, I would imagine, pretty much the same score. Maybe not quite as flighty as we saw from Mai. Little bit of an early twist on that, and what that does is it negates some of the rebound that you can get off that table. You won't see any early twisting at all from Simone Biles. It's one of the things that really sets her apart. Not only does she have a 3-point start score cushion on everybody, but she typically out executes everyone as well. Put those two things together and it's just like everybody else is going, what the heck do we have to do?
Well, and that's the thing, you know, she not only performs skills and routines and elements that are so much more difficult than so many. Great number, 14.6 for Morgan. Good start for her, but back to Simone, she, as you said, Tim, the execution, she performs it just so well. Everything she does looks so easy.
And you see right there, 6.4. That means she is going for the Biles once again. So it's an add-on to what's called a chung, which is a half on to the board, half onto the table, and the chung is 1.5 twists. She adds an extra half twist. Only female gymnast in the world to do this, ever. Oh my! And although that is shocking, it really means almost nothing for Simone, because she's starting basically a full point ahead in start value. The two vaults we've seen so far, 15.4, just doesn't get a great block off the table. It was phenomenal in the qualifying. So let's look here. Yeah, kind of misses her hands. Her hands slide down the table just a little bit, which means that she doesn't rebound as well. Watch right here. Her hands, they slide just a little bit and a little bit skewed with the hand placement. And that right there means a full point off on the landing.
But again, and we will talk about this for the rest of the competition, because her difficulty score is so much higher on every single event, this really shouldn't be a problem.
But shocking.
Very.
And the look of shock on her face, you could see before she even stood up.
Absolutely disappointed, even after the team final competition where she had that mistake on the balance beam, didn't fall but put her hand down. She said, we hold ourselves to high expectations every time we step onto the mat. So when we have mistakes, you can see us getting a little upset.
Yeah, you know, I would have to say, I don't know if she's disappointed. My feeling is she's enraged just knowing her, because she wants to be the very best Simone she can be. That is the catchphrase that her mom has always said to her.
So it's 14.533. The number much lower than she got the qualifying and expected to get here. You kind of just expect you're going to start with a huge number. Ellie Black from Canada, the 23-year-old, is up next.
Runner-up in the all-around last year at Worlds. She got to do it at home. A silver to Morgan Hurd's gold. Different style vault. Wow, and that was done really well for Ellie Black. Completely different style vault. We've seen only Yurchenko's, which means they do this half turn onto the board. She does a more traditional old school vault, which starts forward on the board, leaves a little bit of definitely pike in the air. It's kind of how she does it, though. It really comes down to that landing, which was pretty darn good.
You know, leg separation right there. The judges most likely don't see it from the angle that they're sitting,
because the judges are sideways to her.
Best of all time, and Ellie Black, who's regarded as Canada's best gymnast of all time. Last year, that silver in the all-around, also fourth in the individual event final vault, 14.4. So in fourth.
And again, that's a very good start. What you really want to be looking for is that execution score all across the board. Probably won't be seeing, besides Simone, too many scores in the 9-0 range.
The 18-year-old from Russia, Angelina Melnikova, next.
Once again, she'll go back to that Yurchenko style with the half turn onto the board, double full off. Oh boy. And actually, I thought it was the best vault I've seen her do while she's been in Doha, but just really hopped all over the place. Every time you move your body, they all are additive. She did a big hop, another one, and then I believe a third.
And you saw her coach kind of say, bend your knees on that landing.
Yeah, that was a definite 3/10 hop.
So a little sloppy just towards the end, and really just her feet kind of were in front of her.
Yeah, but like you said, she really didn't bend those knees at all. Look at the big hop right there. Then that could be considered a step. There's another hop, and there was one small one after that. We'll see what the judges do.
Melnikova, part of that silver medal team from Russia in the Rio Games in 2016. Kind of a different start than yesterday's men's event, huh?
Yeah, it sure has been. I mean,
it's early, I understand.
When I said shocking to see Simone do what she did, I mean, that's probably an understatement.
14.166.
Little bit high, you know. I mean, obviously a lower score than we seen from some of the other athletes, but she really opened that door with all of those additional landing deductions.
So the last gymnast to go on vault, Nina Derweil from Belgium, the 18-year-old.
Qualified fourth into the all-around. Just a very easy full twisting Yurchenko. So it starts a full 8/10 lower than we've seen from all the other double folds.
She was 8th at the World Championships in the all-around last year. Looking for better than that this time around in Doha. Back on floor, the 18-year-old from Belgium, Axel Klinker, competing in her first World Championships. Ready for a little Harry Potter?
I thought Harry Potter was only for Morgan. Well, she picked a theme, and boy, did she go with it. Well, actually pretty impressive tumbling as well.
Still the determined look on her face.
Yeah.
It's a little different theme from the Harry Potter one we just saw. Denisa Gogoda from Romania.
And really, the hope for this entire nation at this point in time, Romania.
Oh, hang on.
Boy. Romania, of course, was a staple in women's gymnastics forever, since Nadia. And then for 2016, they did not even qualify a team, which was unbelievable.
Absolutely devastating for them.
But she is definitely one of their hopes, but obviously very nervous in this position.
The balance beam, not an easy event to start off of.
But Romania, for so long, has been considered like beam queens. They are so rock steady on it, and there has been an error on just about every element that she's done. She's a wonderful gymnast and has a lot of ability, just a little bit overwhelmed.
Coming off a leg injury as well. She won a couple of medals at the European Championships earlier this year, but suffered a leg injury at the Romanian Championships in October. And even her status at the World Championships in doubt until she arrived. Going to take a hit on some of the numbers there. 16-year-old Denisa Gogoda.
Like I said, though, a lot of potential. Beautiful mount right here. Nice extension.
You see her left foot was just a little bit off right when she landed. Doing those more difficult mounts at the beginning sometimes makes it a little scary.
Yeah, no, I love it though, but
it's beautiful, but
yes.
it definitely, I like to play the safe route.
Yeah.
I tried to do something more intricate once, fell right off, never did it again. Learned my lesson
Well,
quick.
your generation, that's really what was done. You know, basically just jumping up to the beam. That was a staple of Marta Caroli as well. She didn't want any major elements.
Klinker, 12.8 for the floor exercise. Going to hop over to the uneven bars, and this took place a short time ago. Chen Yila, the 16-year-old from China. Excuse me, it's much earlier. They're going all the way back to, well, Wang. And she was the second to go on uneven bars.
China's so beautiful on bars because of skills like this. Watch, she'll do another one and a big release.
Just stunning. I spent,
oh boy,
a little low right there.
Pretty good recovery. I don't know why they do that skill though. Basically, it's a 1.5 turn, and it is really a built-in deduction.
Very difficult to land on top of the bar in a handstand. Of course, the judge is so strict.
14-4 though.
Yeah, not a bad score. She's great on bars, has a really high start score as well.
So the action continuing as you heard over on floor, but Ellie Downey ready to go here, the 19-year-old from England.
And she has been recovering from a couple of different ankle surgeries.
Great Britain just missing out on the team finals.
She's a very powerful athlete. Her sister also on the British team, 7 years older than her. A little bit under on that landing. A solid routine, but
first major competition in some 18 months as she comes off ankle surgery back in August.
Won the all-around at the 2017 European Championships. Huge moment for her.
yeah, and for Great Britain, that had never been done before. I believe she actually had 2 surgeries. She had one initially and it didn't work, and they had to go back in again, clean that ankle up.
You've been there and done that.
I have.
Kind of a given in this sport in some way. Nottingham, England, where she was born, and her hometown still.
They launched what was called the Double Downies, her and her sister Becky. All about some coaching support, leotard sales. She said it was a good way to distract herself as she was coming back from the injuries.
Men's team.
At Ewell there, you got Alec Yoder.
How difficult will it be for Sam McCulloch to come back in the individual event finals now?
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I don't know what he's thinking at this point in time. Oh, we see a familiar face right there. That's Valerie Lukin, longtime U.S. coach. And, you know, sometimes people, if they don't know this, they should. He was a tremendous Olympic star himself for the Soviet Union.
So we continue here, this opening rotation coming to a close. And on vault, the top names, including the Americans. Morgan Hurd, solid in the opener. Bit of a shock for Simone Biles. The number okay, but not what she expected. Not the way she expected to start a run at a record 4th women's all-around title. Back with more action in a moment. Surprising, yes, but just one rotation in here in the women's all-around final. It's Morgan Hurd, the defending champ. On top, Mai Murakami expected to be right about where she is, but Simone Biles certainly no. You'd expect her to be atop the standings. That a little bit short on that vault, ahead of Ellie Black, Noelle Wan, Melnikova, Chenila, and Downing. So off to the second rotation we turn. Terry Gannon, Tim Daggett, and Nastia Lukin. All right, didn't expect to see this, but it is early.
Yeah. It is early, and of course it is a huge surprise. It's a huge shock, but this is exactly what we are talking about. This is why Simone Biles is so dominant, is because of the difficulty that she does on every single event. Take a look at this right here, comparing Simone Biles and Morgan Hurd. Their starting values, just on that first event alone, the vault, 1 point higher than Morgan. So even with a fall, it's,
and then look down at floor. Going. It's even bigger, 6'7" to 5'5". But, you know, not to sound crass, and I know I am going to sound crass, if I'm Morgan Hurd, when you're competing against the greatest of all time, and after a rotation, your name's on top of Simone Biles, I'd go grab my camera and take a picture.
Even though she won it last year, but Simone was not there. And I get exactly what you're saying. Because that difference in start value, too, is overall 3.1.
It's huge. It's yeah.
And that's what she has to play with, those numbers.
But, you know, this isn't the way that she wants to win a world all-around title, especially her 4th. And again, you know, she talked about that after the team finals after she had that mistake on the balance beam, and people commented saying, you know, why do you look so upset? You guys are still going to win, but it's not about what's on the scoreboard, she said. You know, it's about the performance. So she is, regardless of the outcome, which if, you know, everything just goes more or so according to plan these next 3 events, she will still come out on top. But she will not be happy with this performance.
Goes back to what we said earlier. You're competing at that level. You're competing against yourself and what you can be and what you know you can do. And Juan gets set here on beam.
She is her most brutal critic herself.
Currently just outside the top 3.
China typically over the years tremendous on uneven bars, and potential-wise on beam, just spectacular. Gorgeous body positions, great leaps like that one right there, done in combination. It's called a ring leap. She showed great final position on it. Here we go, though. Big test right here. Round off to layout. Ugh.
Stays on, but you know, they make that skill look so easy, like they're tumbling on the balance beam, but it is not easy. Broke that connection right there. Just seems a little bit off on pretty much every skill so far. One of my favorite skills called Inanoti.
Absolutely. Gorgeous. Just doubting herself a little bit there because not that challenging for her. You know, we saw a shot of Valeri Lukin, who is working with the Brazilian team here. Yang Chao, who coached Gabby Douglas, and Sean Johnson. He is now the head coach of China, wants to bring a little more happiness to the training. That
needs to bend her knees on that landing.
Yeah. Once again, very good, but some super wonderful elements in that exercise, but also errors.
Up over the bars, and Morgan Hurd set to compete, leading after the opening rotation.
Now, what she does so well are these inside stalders. See how she scoots her feet in between the bars? Big combination. And a really critical one right here, now down to the low.
Beautiful. Oh, a little short on that handstand.
Once again, she'll scoot her legs in. She'll do this dismount in combination. She gets extra points for it.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Much better.
Wow. I'll tell you what, though, I don't think she fooled anybody with that landing. You know, she kind of stuck for a second, not even a second, and kind of turned to salute the judges.
The qualifying round of competition, she scored a 14.466.
And this was considerably better, though.
This was much better.
Had one handstand that wasn't great, but let's watch this dismount here. See if we stay on it long enough. It looks like a stick.
In slow-mo, and of course the cutaway. Once again, we don't control what we're showing and what we're watching with this world feed, but that was a great routine for Morgan.
And you start to think, if you're her, hey, okay, maybe it's not second. That's just how you think as an athlete. Brooklyn Moore is from Canada, now on vault.
Also with a big vault. Actually didn't do what I was anticipating that she would. Wants to keep her body completely extended and definitely has to close her hips. You see right there, that's definitely a pike position and not laid out, which I'm sure what she was shooting for.
And you know, we unfortunately weren't able to see her on the previous event, the floor exercise, but she is absolutely stunning there.
13-3 for that effort on vault at her second world championship. She was 15th in the all-around last year.
Yeah.
Luo Wan, who was in 4th after the first rotation, 13.466.
You see that execution, 7.3, very low, but so many small mistakes.
So 14.333 for Morgan Hurd on uneven bars.
And I think that was a little low, in my opinion, the execution. But as we've said all week long here, they've been so strict with the execution scores.
Par for the course thus far.
So now Simone goes from the vault, which obviously she was not thrilled with the outcome, to the uneven bars, and she has never won a world title on bars.
Well, if you don't think she's fierce, then you don't know Simone Biles. Historically, in the past, though, this was an event she didn't really like. Really tricky combination right here. Now down to the low. Great. Big skill. And I think the only gymnast I've seen so far do a double twisting double off bars.
Well, you know, you always talk about how do you recover, how do you rebound from a fall, how do you move on to the next event and turn the page, and that is exactly how you do it. I guarantee you she was still thinking about that vault, but to be able to go on to an event where, you know, in the past she hasn't always felt most confident, and to deliver like she just did just shows exactly how great of an athlete she is.
One of the handstands not as good, and this dismount got a little bit hung up in the air, maybe. It's flighty, but you see that hop and then one more little step back, which is very not typical for Simone Biles. Not dangerous because she is great here and has two huge events. Balance beam and then her astronomical floor exercise routine coming up to end the competition.
You know, there was some anger at the start of that routine.
And still is. You know, she's definitely, as we said, not one to be too thrilled with any kind of mistake.
Laura Mori from Italy.
Once again, we see that same vault that we saw from Nina Durwal. Just a full twisting laid out Yurchenko. Has a 4.6 or 14.6 maximum score. Most of the gymnasts are doing a vault that has a 15.4.
Captain of the Italian team, 13.4 here in her fourth World Championships.
And there's one exercise that I would have to say they were maybe a little lenient on. You know, there were a lot of deductions, not a lot of flight on that.
Chen Yila, the 16-year-old from China, had a very strong first senior season. 3 titles at the Asian Games underway here on beam.
Right off the back, big skill. She'll do a round off and try to keep her body completely stretched. Look great in the air, just a little adjustment. Balance beam obviously is about the big skills and the big leaps like that, but it's also about combining 2, sometimes even 3 elements together. The judges are looking for a smooth transition from one to another. They don't want to see a long pause. They don't want to see extra arm swings in between the elements. Very nice position there. And I think that's her warning for time. It's hard to tell because it could be on another event. Really difficult dismount, though. Round up triple twist. Nicely done. But just too many little places where she's not as crisp as you watch them in training, and they are spectacular, flawless. The connections are great, but sometimes they get a little bit cautious. You saw her eyes. She was looking at the time to see how much she had remaining.
1 foot basically completely off the beam. That was a good save.
Pretty good position. Very close to perfect. Needed to have that foot just a little bit closer to her head at the end.
Little bit of a leg separation. Feet crossed, but perfectly around.
Teenager who was a part of that team for China, which won the bronze medal The team event, the U.S. winning that going away over Russia, and then China rounding out the top three. 14-7, 2-5 for Simone Biles. That top-seeded group on the uneven bars. We continue with Angelina Melnikova from Russia. 6th place after the opening rotation.
And we saw Morgan Hurd also do those inside Stalter type elements. She does them as well. Really nice. Great compression. Love to see it done that way. Big release right here. Nice flight, but a little bit of leg separation.
Good handstand so far.
Another release. They need to change that rule. That should not be allowed in women's gymnastics.
Competed but was injured last year at the World Championships. Didn't make any of the finals, but has come back and had a pretty good year at the European Championships. A couple of medals there, some momentum coming in here.
Look at the compression that she gets on those type of skills. Very, very impressive. Beautiful flight from high to low. One of my favorite moves.
And as I said, she hits every handstand pretty much, but almost on every skill you see some leg separation. So really just needing to clean up that form a little bit.
But you know what she has done as of late? She was known as a fairly inconsistent gymnast, was capable, and sometimes she would just have horrible routines. And she has really improved on that, and that's why she's in contention to be on the podium.
Yeah, 14-3 on the bars in qualifying.
You know, I love that they all wear red lipstick now. I just remember back, I mean, I guess it's been 10 years, but that was the last thing we were thinking about. Matching your nails and your lipstick.
Well, she had all kinds of nails going on.
That.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. I think Kyla Ross kind of brought that into vogue with the super bright red lipstick.
I'm a fan.
Simone Biles, by the way, is back on top overall of the standings, about 0.3 of a point over Morgan Hurd.
And that lead is just going to get higher now going on to the balance beam, the floor exercise. As we said, her difficulty scores are now just going to be so much higher than everybody else on these last two events.
So that's higher than she had in qualifying. 14-4-3-3, Melnikova. Into 3rd place overall, right behind Morgan Hurd, as we keep it right here on even bars. Nina Derweil from Belgium.
Fasten your seatbelts. This is one of the greatest routines being done on any event, men and women's gymnastics, just non-stop. And it starts with a ginormous skill called a Nabiva. Beautiful.
You got me watching now.
Now watch right here. Also, that's called a Derweil. Also, a Fenton from Great Britain. She's got just non-stop, as I've said, huge skill after huge skill. This is the only event Simone did not win in qualifying. And I don't believe she'll win today either. That was spectacular. Nina Derweil.
European champion 2017 on uneven bars after placing 19th in the all-around at the Rio Games. But you're right, causing people to take notice in the qualifying.
Definitely just spectacular from start to finish, and she spots that ground and is so patient with the landing. Sometimes you see somebody bend their knees and they just are too quickly standing back up again. That's going to be a very big number.
Be a high number. 15?
It'll be close to that, certainly.
All right, meanwhile, from Great Britain, Ellie Downey, the 19-year-old. We're on beam. Eighth place in that opening rotation for Ellie.
Good fight there, but certainly incur quite a bit of deductions. Very difficult double turn. A lot, you know, for the non-gymnastics people, they maybe don't think that's so hard, but those turns are incredibly difficult, as we'll see when we get to the event finals with Simon Wavers. Two and a half twist, nice landing.
Get the number there in a moment. Meanwhile, uneven bars, Mai Murakami, that top-seeded group.
And if there's a place where Mai is not quite as great as her other events, it's right here on uneven bars. She's good, but doesn't have the same level of difficulty that we'll see from some of the other athletes on this event. Does a couple of different front flips. One is legs together, one is legs apart, straddled, so she's allowed to do that. Well, very solid, but certainly Morgan Hurd, Simone Biles are going to remain out in front. The level of difficulty alone will ensure that.
Durwile, 15.1, so she does hit the 15 number.
Awesome. Just awesome.
So, take you over to beam once again. Flavia Saraiva from Brazil, 19 years of age, from Rio.
Was such a fan favorite back in 2016. So petite and just darling choreography and so expressive.
Part of a team that was on the verge, had a chance, coming right down to the last rotation to actually medal at the World Championships and couldn't hold it together.
You know, I don't think they... Beautiful, wow. Absolutely stunning. I don't think that they really believed that they would have found themselves in that position right before the last event. Really could have won that bronze medal. Never has been done in history of Brazil.
Yeah.
Boy, that layout was spectacular.
Absolutely stunning.
Here we go. Oh my.
On that first layout, she was looking at her feet just completely off.
Obviously a full point off. Nice leap there.
But really has, just even within the last few years, has grown her confidence so much. Of course, minus the fall, but overall her presence.
Absolutely. Yeah, hard to come back from that for Brazil and for her personally as well.
Well, she came in fifth, had a top 5 finish in Rio at the Olympics on the balance beam, and didn't even get to the individual event final here with a qualification, and now the major mistake in the all-around on beam. Downey 12.7. And overall in 12th place. As you know, it's misleading sometimes until the full rotation is over, and even then,
yeah,
it's can't quite go by that. Murakami 13.566.
And yeah, as you just mentioned, Terry, the top seeded group, they all started on vaulting. So they have a little bit of a cushion. It's a much higher scoring event. None of the other groups, so the second tier group, which Melanie is a part of, they have not yet to do vault, which will help them.
Going to go back earlier and take a look at Melanie De Jesus from France, 18 years of age, and her effort on beam.
Also one of my favorite gymnasts. So classy looking, great lines. Everything is finished with her gymnastics.
23 years old, lots of experience for Team Japan.
Beautiful.
She's a two-time Olympian, She was 8th all around at
Also have a chance to see her in the event finals on
quite impressive.
floor
It's her
exercise.
6th World Championships.
She won the European Championships on that event.
Score on uneven bars for Morgan Hurd, 14.33.
And now on uneven bars from the USA, Simone Biles.
Like I said, this took place a while ago.
Very solid so far, though. France was 2nd place to Russia at the European Championships this year. A big accomplishment for them. Double back with a big step backwards as well, but really a nice exercise. Well done.
Melanie from Martinique in the Caribbean. Her mom's from there. Her dad's from Portugal. She moved to France 2013 to join the national team.
That was a great fight. I did not see that in regular speed on that mount. Her feet were kind of all over the place.
And right there on that dismount.
Yikes. One of the scariest things that there is, in my opinion, that round off into double flipping skills.
People at home can't see you guys, but you even look nervous.
I jumped out of my chair.
13-7 and change for Melanie De Jesus from France, with some fans in the crowd as we roll on midway through this women's all-around. So Morgan Hurd, who had the lead after the opening rotation, solid effort, solid number on the uneven bars, but followed up by the greatest of all time, and Simone Biles takes the lead overall, heading to rotation number 3. And the women's all-around here at the 48th edition of the World Gymnastics Championships. Back with a reminder, Sunday night, all eyes will be on Foxborough. 2 of the greatest quarterbacks of all time facing off. Aaron Rodgers leading the Packers against Tom Brady and the Patriots. Football night in America at 7 Eastern with kickoff at 8:20. Sunday night football only on NBC. Big day in the world of gymnastics. The women's all-around final, and Simone Biles in action midway through this day. And it was Morgan Hurd who led after the opening rotation. The mistake by Simone Biles on vault, but back on top as expected. And you've got 2 Americans also as expected leading the way. Nina Durwile from Belgium, and then Melnikova from Russia. Chen Yila from Japan, or China after that. Murakami from Japan. So the world is back in order. This is what we expected, and big things expected in the next 2 now?
Absolutely, and it's no surprise. You know, it's, yeah, sure, Morgan was on top after the first event, but, or on, you know, on top of Simone, and here she goes right here on the balance beam, but she has not forgotten about the vault, but she needs to, especially on this event. Was great in the qualifying round, had a mistake in the team finals. Okay, I'm the first to say I'm not a fan of that skill, but the way that Simone does it is perfection. With
authority. This is a tricky element for her. Front flip with a half and
my gosh. Wow.
So what's bigger than shocked? Because I was shocked with her on vault, and now another challenge right here. You know, you gotta remember, folks, as I'm being reminded in my own brain, that the night before the qualifying, she was in an ER past midnight. This was the skill she stumbled on in the team, and what I was saying was she was in the ER. A kidney stone was what they said all the abdominal pain was caused by, and a little bit of a hesitation there. Gigantic dismount right here. Full twisting double.
If there was anger after the fall on vault, what is there now?
Disbelief.
Disbelief.
Yeah, disbelief. As Nastia said, she just does this so well. Many other gymnasts really struggle on it. This is the skill that she's been great on since her comeback, but it had given her problems in the past. It's not over still. She definitely opens the door dramatically for Morgan and Melnikova and Mai Murakami.
Beginning of the day, you mentioned the fact that she could possibly fall twice and still win.
Oh, absolutely.
And that has happened with the start values and the cushion that she would have going in. But it's there is a bit of disbelief right now. Over the floor, Chen Yila. The 16-year-old from China just about set. In 5th place, heading into this rotation.
Real gymnastics fans all across the world are in shock like we are here in the booth.
Yep.
With Simone. Just a lovely gymnast to watch. Beautiful lines. You love to see the big smile, too. I do, anyways.
New athlete on the scene for China, on the senior level at least, was a junior a year ago.
Beautiful triple twist on her mount. Just a little bit of legs crossed in the air. That's only 1/10 of a point, though, for legs crossed in the code of points, the rules that govern gymnastics. Nice pointed toes on that double back somersault. You don't typically see that.
So she waits for the number. We take you to vault. Asuka Teramoto from Japan.
Well, if she does what? A 5.8 start value, which is huge. Nicely done.
Chest pretty low on that landing, so what you really want to see is, of course, in the air, a little bit of leg separation, but you see on that landing, her chest really drops low. A little better, but it's
you know what?
low.
To have this 15.8 score, it's supposed to be completely laid out, and that was not. She had definite hip angle throughout the entire ball.
14.633. Teramoto, a veteran in her 6th world championship. That is a number she did not Boy, she hadn't seen that in a while. 13-2-3-3 for Simone Biles. And remember, in the qualifying, she was 14.8.
Yeah, she is not accustomed to scores in the 13s. It's like you've never seen them before for her.
So if you're the other top names here, if you're Morgan Hurd, I know you came in realistically, as much as you want to win another title, you're thinking, all right, I got to battle for second place. That has changed.
Oh, no, absolutely. But she's got to get through a balance beam routine also, which is not easy. And then, you know, I don't want to be a spoiler here, but going into floor, for example, Simone Biles has 1.2 tenths in difficulty over Morgan Hurd on that one event.
So the numbers for Yila. Melnikova now from Russia on beam.
Great start.
In fourth place going into this third rotation.
Didn't quite get that full ring. The judges are looking for that back leg all the way up.
Yeah, that's no question. She did not get it. I would imagine they'll take that skill away.
Same with that one. Really, her knee just needs to go up a little bit higher, as well as that foot, back foot. But so far, pretty solid.
Yes.
For the Russian Federation, just this year.
Really, on all of those jumps that are called the ring leaps, the switch ring, split ring, all of them, just not quite getting the full amplitude what the judges are looking for.
Beautiful double pike, great.
And overall, really a great routine.
Yeah,
Might get those skills devalued, but overall very solid.
Melnikova in fourth, looking to move up with that effort. Those chasing Simone Biles, thinking they may have a chance. Now Melnikova with that effort on the balance beam a moment ago, waiting for her numbers.
A lot of things that were just gorgeous in this exercise. Really powerful dismount too. Great amplitude. Gets a good square punch on that beam. Look at the form in the air, toes pointed. Opens her body. And just the smallest of little hops. That was spectacular. But it's all going to come down to how they judges evaluate. She had 3 of them. They're called ring leaps. And it's supposed to form an actual ring from your head to your toe in the back. Hers were not high enough, as Nastia and I both talked about.
Taking some time on this number.
Well, they could very well be discussing this, and the discussion is going to be, is it just a deduction, an execution deduction, or does she lose the skill and have it devalued?
You know, I would actually say both.
Yeah.
For me, it didn't quite reach the level of difficulty that it should, that the code states. Not only a 180-degree split, but that back leg really needs to be up there.
Nastia is doing that position in the booth right now, and I can tell you she was nowhere near that.
Just a few ring kicks back here, you know?
Perfection. 13.466, the number for Melnikova. Now, Nina Durwile was in third, right behind the 2 Americans after that last rotation, right in the mix.
She obviously had her uber event, the uneven bars in the last rotation, which helps her tremendously. For a long time, people thought of her as really just an uneven specialist, but she's quite good in a lot of areas.
Score on floor exercise for Ellie Downey, 13.233.
Harder than it looks, folks.
It looks hard.
3 times around, but probably took more than twice as long to complete that compared to Simone. They don't say you have to go fast on it.
She is a little taller, too.
Yes.
Longer legs, but does it well.
First one was a triple turn, that one a double. And you see a lot of them because they are high-valued skills.
And obviously having to take advantage of that when it's a little easier on the body. Not a dismount that we're used to seeing too often now.
Well, it garnered Shanae Wavers a gold medal in Rio off of balance beam. It's a gainer somersault. But look at this awesome mount. Round off, layout, step out. Very tricky. Then she follows it up with another series. She's trying to keep her body extended, laid out in the air on that, and laid out means straight. And you see a big hip angle on that. Once again, it's going to be up to the judges to determine how much of a hip angle and what that deduction would be, and they didn't just see it in slow motion either.
Denisa Golgota from Romania getting set on vault.
A familiar 15.4 vault, double twist, nicely done. To be so young and to carry Romania's gymnastics hopes on your shoulders, daunting. But I think this little one, I think that she is capable.
Just 16, was down in 22nd place going into this rotation. 14.3, the number here. And Durwile waiting for her number from beam. You've got Mai Murakami and then Morgan Hurd still to come in that top-seeded group. So Morgan's had to wait.
I was just about to say, she's waited quite a while, too, watching or not. You know, it's hard to not hear from the crowd reactions or the in-house commentating, which is rather strange, in my opinion. But
she knows what's going on.
Exactly.
So 2 more to come. Mai Murakami, first of the 2 on beam.
And, you know, some people might be saying, well, she dropped so far. Beautiful mount, a leap also. We've seen gymnasts struggle with that. But remember, a little over a year ago in Montreal at the Worlds, she led the qualifying in the all-around and was leading up until balance beam, where she came off on a double turn. And she had dropped to 6th place, but that was expected. She knew that. Uneven bars was, she did her job, but doesn't have the highest scoring potential.
So far, really solid, very confident.
And like Biles, her best event comes on the last event, floor exercise. She's the reigning world champion on that event. So just really needs to get through this. And you see a full turn there as opposed to a double turn. It's like, I've learned my lesson and I've learned it well. Also does a huge double pike. Great fight for that landing. She's done everything that she can thus far. 3 really strong events for Mai Murakami.
She was in 6th going into this rotation. She is the reigning world champion on floor, as you mentioned. So Murakami and Biles, maybe the strongest 2 on floor. Throw in Morgan Hurd right there.
No question. As Nastia has mentioned, Mai is really one of the major reasons that you've seen the Japanese women dramatic rise on the international scene. The men have always dominated, and I've spoken with many of the women over the years, and they've said, gosh, they are so great. We can do it too. We just gotta earn it.
Absolutely, and after the team event where they finished 6th in the finals, she said that we made mistakes that we don't normally make as a team, and I felt so strongly I didn't want us to fail. She said, I'm not satisfied, but I want to make use of this frustrating experience, and she's doing a great job channeling that frustration into motivation here today.
Earlier action, Jade Barbosa from Brazil on vault, 21st after the second rotation.
13.80.
Now on floor, representing China, Chen Yili.
And a great, again, very similar to a lot of vaults that we've seen, called a Yurchenko with a double twist.
But I'll tell you what had to be hard for Jade to get up for this competition. She was part of obviously the Brazilian effort that was in 3rd after 3 events in the team competitions. She went to uneven bars, had a very rough go, and Brazil obviously dropped, but this is very nicely done.
But, you know, not just her. Really the whole rotation for Team Brazil on bars in such uncharacteristic mistakes on skills that, you know, they don't have any issue with, so clearly signs of nerves.
So the number for Murakami still just outside the top 3. So we come down to the last one on beam, and it is the American right in the thick of things near the top, looking to challenge Simone Biles, her teammate. Here's Morgan Hurd.
And this will be great, but I just want to make a note here. We are almost 3 events done. This is a big element for Morgan. Back with a full twist.
And pretty identical to what she did day 1 in qualifying. Just a tad bit off.
Oh my gosh. And that looked like nerves to me. She grabbed the beam, as we saw Simone do in the team finals. That's a full half of a point deduction. And with Simone's mistakes, Morgan certainly had the best shot at challenging Simone. But before Morgan went, it's important to note, with 2 falls, Simone Biles was still on top of the leaderboard.
And would have increased that lead much more after a floor.
Morgan has been such a rock, but I don't know about you, but, you know, having the opportunity to unseat the greatest of all time, I think really got to her on that skill. Not that one, though. That was picture perfect.
We'll see. Just looking at the numbers, she would need 13.132 to lead going into that final rotation.
I don't think that that's going to happen.
I know, it's okay.
She's going to be fine. She should be, you know, in the hunt for a podium spot, I would say, but
Wonderful display of flexibility in the straddle split mount.
Here's that standing back with a full, extremely difficult. And a good save. You see she was just really a tad bit off to the left side. And there you see her touch her hands to the beam. Big deduction. But good save.
no, absolutely a good save.
Those two have grown closer during the World Championships, no doubt about that. 13.466 is what Morgan Hurd earned in qualifying and in the team event.
Actually didn't compete in the team event, but the qualifying.
Excuse me, in the qualifying, 13.466, and she would need less than that here to take the lead. But the mistake, and you think it's going to be more costly than that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a full half of a point deduction, no question. Yeah, you hear that?
Both of them.
Yeah.
Obviously frustrated.
Melanie De Jesus dos Santos earlier on floor.
And she's spectacular here. Great choreography, has a lot of fun out there, and huge tumbling. Double layout, full twist.
Thought she was going to go out of bounds there, but beautiful.
Gorgeous exercise. And you know, she came in to the after the second rotation in 9th place in the all-around, but she is in that second group, and you have to remember, they finish up on vaulting, which is the highest scoring event. She could move up.
13.8, the number for Melanie. Morgan Hurd, by the way, we just got the number 12.933. So that is obviously not enough to challenge Simone Biles at the top. So even with the mistakes, it is Simone Biles leading the way going into floor. The final rotation, rotation number 4, the women's all-around, taking place in Doha. All rise for Premier League mornings. It's a clash of top 4 clubs as Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Arsenal host Mo Salah and unbeaten Liverpool at the Emirates. Saturday, coming your way at 1:30 Eastern on NBC. The action taking place inside the Aspire Zone, as it's called, down to the final rotation in the women's all-around final. And it is Simone Biles leading the way. Not quite as expected, though. You see how close it is here, and the mistakes, a couple of them by the greatest of all time. Nina Durwile trying to give Belgium their first ever medal at a women's all-around at the World Championships or the Olympics. Melnikova rounding out the top 3, and Morgan Hurd. But Hurd or Akami right there, and the final event for those top-seeded women is floor.
And they're both really, really great on that event. Unfortunately, Nina, that is her lowest scoring event, will most likely be knocked off of the podium. And it is going to be all Simone, you know, and I know we have said this already, but we have to remember she was in the ER this week with a kidney stone. The amount of pain that she has been in, and really just has hidden it from everybody, because the look on her face throughout the entire competition, you would have never known. Not even the look, the performance. I mean, she's shown on one side that she's human, but on the other side, not many people can get out of bed
Yep.
when they're feeling this way. And for her to be able to be still performing the way that she is, I think we are all just a little bit shocked, because we're not used to seeing her make mistakes like this.
We're used to invincibility with her.
Tim, what about that chance for Morgan Hurd to capture the second spot?
No, it's very possible. I would say it's going to be really close between Morgan, Mai Murakami, and obviously Melnikova is right there as well. Melnikova had a big qualifying score, qualified in 3rd.
Janila on vault, starting things for China. In 6th place after 3 rotations.
The big problem for her is the vault is one of her lower scoring events relative to other competitors, because she just does an easier vault at this point in time. I'm sure she's training to add a full twist. There's one complete twist, and it's a very nice vault, but the maximum score, as you can see, is a 14.6. Most of the women that we'll see in this rotation are doing 15.4 vaults. But a great day for her.
And that sigh when you know it's over.
Yeah, and China came away, obviously, with the third place or bronze medal as a team. Russia got the silver and U.S. gold.
Over the floor, those top names going for medals now. Angelina Melnikova in her final rotation.
And as you said, Tim, she had a great score in the qualifying round, 14.033. Unfortunately, in the team final, only got a 12.966.
You know, early on, before the competition even began here in Doha, in the training halls, she was having a lot of problems on floor. Some pretty brutal landings. This, on the podium like this, is a much springier event. Big first tumbling run for her. Big step, a 3/10 step, and you add on the 1/10 for out of bounds. Oh boy.
And, you know, extremely difficult floor routine, but unfortunately, pretty much every single tumbling pass, except for that first one, had a little too much deduction on the landings. And when it's going to be this close for the race for second and third, the silver and the bronze medal, every single tenth matters.
Really hard beginning sequence, just a tiny little slide on the landing. It really, the biggest one was the dismount. This is her second pass, double layout. That's a 3/10 step, and out of bounds is 1/10 for 1 foot.
And a double back flip, and you see not too bad, but a slight hop forward. Another one after that, chest a little low.
But I would say the biggest deduction, the dismount, and what the judges are looking for is for your body to be extended when you land, and hers is not chest down by her legs, and a rebound, we'll see.
Talked about how close it is. Less, well, a little more than a third of a point separating second and third. Less than a point separating third and fourth. 13.433. Chen Yila, the young competitor from China. Nina Durwile of Belgium getting set on floor. Final rotation here.
Was second after 3 rotation. This is her weakest event. She needs the routine of a lifetime to factor in at all for a podium finish.
The number for Angelina Melnikova from Russia, 13.633. She was in third going into this rotation, fighting for the podium.
Well, a great performance, but as you can tell, the level of difficulty on the tumbling passes, it's not even in the same category as the other contenders, not even close.
But just absolutely gorgeous. We'll be competing in the uneven bar finals.
Where she's leading, or scores start from 0. This her opening tumbling run.
She won a bronze medal on bars at last year's World Championships, the first for a Belgian woman at the Worlds. Belgium has never won, as I said, a women's medal in the all-around at the Worlds or Olympics.
You know, and could easily win that gold tomorrow in the uneven bar finals.
Absolutely. And you know what? I don't think she's thinking, I got to get on the podium. I got to get on the podium. She's knowing that she is... has done something that no one from her country has ever done before, both on uneven bars and now in the all-around.
Flavia Saraiva moments ago, Brazil on on vault. All right, 12th going into this rotation.
Yeah, I like that vault. Really good repulsion off of the vaulting table. Gets a great bounce, fast arms. Little crooked, but remember, the line in gymnastics is in.
14.5, 3, 3. All right, the number. Durwal, here we go. 13.3. And overall, she is in first place ahead of Melnikova right now.
That's unbelievable.
Wow.
Wow.
That's not what you expected, is it?
No. She's got 3 big guns to come, and it starts right away.
Now, will likely finish in 4th if, of course, Mai, Morgan, and Simone do what they are capable of doing.
Mai Murakami, the 2017 World Floor Champ. Oh, wow.
Stumbled out of that turn.
Well, the tumbling, as always, spectacular. But right off the bat, on one of those turns.
13.902 is what she would need to lead. Qualifying, what she get, 14.1?
Yeah, she did.
1.
Yeah.
But in the team finals, a 13.766. And unfortunately, that is a pretty major mistake.
And, you know, she looked like she was in tears as she was leaving the podium. An awesome double twisting double to start, but she knows, wow, last year it was balance beam. She ended up in the dreaded 4th position at the World Championships.
The absolute worst.
Yeah. And she might have just done it to herself again.
On a turning element, again.
It's so close right now at the top. Was it 1/1000th of a point between Durwal and Melnikova?
It's crazy. And that would mean Durwal will end up with an all-around medal which I'm sure was unthinkable for her, her coaches, her country.
Absolutely.
Lo Wan over on vault. 9th place going into this rotation.
Once again, just the full twist on that. China has 3 vaulters now that can do the harder skills, but not these 2 all-arounders.
So the number there, 13.466 into 6th for the moment. And the numbers coming up from Murakami, yeah, 14 and even 14, and that's enough. It's Mai Murakami who takes the lead over Nina Derweil.
And she will get a medal. Bronze at the least.
Less than 1/10 of a point there. So Morgan Hurd would need a 13.933 to pass her.
Which she can do. But really, the biggest test for her is going to come right off the bat. She'll do the same tumbling run we saw Mai do, a double twisting, double somersault. She's had problems keeping it inbounds and not taking a big 3/10 step. It's right here.
Stay on your feet and stay in bounds.
Pretty good.
Hello. All the way to the very end.
Reigning world all-around champ. She is going to need the exact same score here as she got in the qualifying round in order to take the lead.
And for those who thought that she was a flash in the pan or just somebody who won when nobody else was there, this absolutely proves them wrong. I think she's going to get it. Going to be close, though. You don't see scores of that magnitude on floor exercise, but she had the best landing she's had thus far. And what might have been the keeper was that last tumbling pass where she had no movement at all.
Tumbling and dancing, front layout, front full twist. Last year she was just hoping.
This is that dismount, and when she needed it most,
United States of America, and she ended up being
no movement at all.
world all-around champion.
Just 17 years old, born in China, adopted as a baby, raised by a single mom who just shakes her head and says, I can't believe what that little girl has become now.
The dance, the tumbling,
And a chance to get there, and who knows, maybe overtake Murakami at the top. We'll see. De Jesus over on vault.
Nice double twisting Yurchenko. For years she struggled with this vault, had a serious injury that required major surgery, ACL repair.
And 14.566, fourth place for the moment. How about the number for Morgan Hurd now? 13.866, and it's not going to be enough. Mai Murakami on top of the leaderboard now, ahead of Morgan Hurd.
Wow, that's surprising. I thought she had it with the performance that she had, and looking at the scores that she has achieved thus far at Worlds.
Well, and the execution, looking at it, 8.466. Just seems a little low, in my opinion. Maybe we're a little too biased. I don't know.
Murakami, Hurd, Durwild, the top three as we've come down to the final gymnast on floor, and it is Simone Biles. 13.308 to become the first woman to win 4 women's all-around titles.
And what did she get in qualifying? A stratospheric 15.333. See if she does her big skill. Double-double laid out. And she does, but once again, bounds out of bounds. 3/10 step with a 10th off on for going out of bounds.
Right here, another skill to Biles. Normally does a split, a stag jump out of it. Was probably just trying to stay in bounds there. Decided to take it out. Well, there you have it. 4-time world all-around champion.
No doubt about it.
You're calling it right now.
Absolutely, hands down. There's not even a question. Just prove to everybody why she is the best in the world.
And Mai Murakami, who won on floor in the all-around here, going to come up just short. But ahead of Morgan Hurd, not by much though. If you're Simone Biles, you're looking at today and you're thinking, I wasn't at my best, but
Very far from it.
Even not at my best, I was the best.
And that's exactly why at the beginning of the competition, we talked about the reason why she is so much better is because the level of difficulty that she performs. She is just so far above the rest of the field of competition. Even with 2 major mistakes, 2 falls, she is still able to win this competition.
And even though this was not her best floor exercise routine in Doha, it will be absolutely plenty.
You see her teammates Reagan and Grace doing her choreography in the stands.
So let's wait to make it official here as we get the number for Simone Biles.
She knows it's official, but, well, it's not official, but she knows it's going to happen. As we said at the top of the show, Nastia, it's not even been a full year, 1 day short of a full year of returning to training. And even with 2 falls, Simone Biles, the greatest of all time, in my opinion, is going to add another gold medal to her collection.
I'm so shiny.
And make history. She's going to become the first female athlete, first female gymnast to become a 4-time world all-around champion.
There it is. It is official now. 15, and Simone Biles, with a hug from Morgan Hurd, is now a 4-time women's all-around champ. This was not easy work today.
No, not at all.
And you take in that the kidney stone and what she started to deal with before the competition even began, and has throughout the week, and she's not done yet. Simone Biles, the gold medalist. Mai Murakami comes in second, and it's Morgan Hurd of the U.S. who rounds out the top three. Time to pose for those pictures. And it is still, as we look at the number, her largest margin of victory at the World Championships in the all-around.
Look, 2 falls.
Incredible. But look at how tight it is.
Wow, look at
Under
second
Morgan.
through sixth.
It's unbelievable.
All in the 55 range, all the way through sixth place. Man, Biles, Murakami, Hurd, but then Durwile, who is terrific and still has a chance to win a medal for Belgium. The faces and the concentration comes down to that last rotation, at least for the silver and the bronze, and we are not done yet with our coverage. Back tomorrow, first of 2 days in the event files, and Simone Biles back in action looking for more medals. For Tim and Nastya, I'm Terry Gannon. So long, everyone.
Nobody does it like Simone.